Hi everyone, my name is Victory Bryant, and today I will be talking about diabetes in the United States. And here's an outline of everything that I'll be covering in this video, which includes the description and background of the problem, the target audience, objectives, challenges, key prevention message, support statements, tone, communication channels, which are outlets for me to reach the audience, openings, which are basically the times that are best for me to reach this audience, and creative communication considerations, and then the conclusion. So here's a description and background of the problem. Men and women are susceptible to being diagnosed with diabetes. Diabetes is a disease that occurs when your blood glucose, also called blood sugar, is too high. Blood glucose is your main source of energy, and it comes from the food that you eat. Insulin is a hormone that is made by the pancreas. It helps glucose from food get into your cells to be used for energy. Sometimes your body doesn't make enough or any insulin, or it doesn't use insulin well. Glucose then stays in your blood and it does not reach your cells. Over time, having too much glucose in your blood can cause health problems. Although diabetes has no cure, you can take steps to manage your diabetes and stay healthy. Over time, high blood glucose leads to problems such as heart disease, stroke, kidney disease, eye problems, dental disease, nerve damage, and foot problems. According to the CDC, 30.3 million US adults have diabetes, and 1 in 4 of them don't even know that they have it. Common environmental factors are associated with type 1 and type 2 diabetes, including dietary factors, endocrine disruptors, and other environmental polluters, and gut microbiome composition. And these are the most common types of diabetes: type 1, type 2, and gestational. In type 1 diabetes, the body does not make insulin at all. The immune system attacks and destroys the cells in your pancreas that make insulin. And it's typically diagnosed in children and young adults. And these individuals need to take insulin every day to stay alive. In type 2 diabetes, which is the most common, the body does not make insulin or use insulin well. So it's not just secluded to the body and not making insulin at all, like type 1 diabetes. And it develops at any age, including childhood. And most often it occurs in middle-aged and older people. Now, gestational diabetes develops in some pregnant women while they're pregnant. Typically goes away after the baby is born, and these individuals tend to have a greater chance of developing type 2 diabetes. So here's a chart of the estimated age-adjusted prevalence of diagnosed diabetes by race and ethnicity and sex among adults. And here you can see that Black non-Hispanics are have the second highest prevalence of diagnosed diabetes, right behind the American Indians. And then after that, after Black non-Hispanics, then there are Hispanics who have the third highest prevalence. And here is my target audience, which is African American men and women, mostly focusing on parents between the ages of 45 through 64. And you'll see why, in living in the United States, and you'll see why I chose this specific population in the next slide. I chose this target population because based on my prior research, I discovered that this age group is the second largest age group for being diagnosed with this disease, which you'll see in this slide here. This is a table of the estimated incidence of diabetes among adults in the United States from 2015. And here you can obviously see that there is a huge difference um, in the number of people who have this disease based on the age groups. 18 through 44 have 355, and 45 through 64 have 809, and people who are older than 65 have 366. So I chose this population because this is the population with the highest estimated incidence of diabetes. So I definitely want to target this population. And here are my objectives. I want the target audience to think that their actions can help them avoid the development of type 2 diabetes after experiencing the communication. And after experiencing the communication, I want the target audience to feel afraid and inspired. And you'll see why I said afraid and inspired in following slides. After experiencing the communication, I want them to begin making these changes by slowly adopting them into their lifestyle. If this population has high self efficacy, then this will facilitate the motivation that they need to make changes in their lifestyle. And here are some of the challenges that this population faces in relation to acquiring type 2 diabetes. They have a high risk for type 2 diabetes, genetic traits, obesity prevalence, insulin resistance, poor glycemic control, and racial disparities in healthcare. And here's the key prevention message. If I take a brisk walk for 30 minutes a day, then I will feel more energized overall. And here's my support statement for choosing that message as the key prevention message. Because regular brisk walking can help you maintain a healthy weight, prevent or manage various conditions, including heart disease, high blood pressure, and type 2 diabetes, strengthen your bones and muscles, improve your mood, improve your balance and coordination, be faster, farther, and more frequently you walk, the greater the benefits. And here's the tone. I want my communication to have an authoritative and emotional feeling. These feelings have been seen to promote actions in its listeners. So that's also why I said afraid as well in the previous slide, because if someone is afraid of an outcome, then they will be more likely to do the actions that they need to in order to prevent what they don't want to happen, which is in this case type 2 diabetes or diabetes at all. And here are the communication channels that I chose. And I chose a lot of different communication channels for this target audience because everyone in this population is so different. There's so many different lifestyles that African Americans in this age group live. So some of them are of high socioeconomic status and some are of low socioeconomic status, as well as different education levels as well. So I wanted to be able to reach everyone in many different ways. So here are my communication channels that I chose: cable television / streaming commercials, radio and satellite radio advertisements, print advertisements that might be in doctor's offices, signs on buses and bus stops, billboards, local and national news outlets, and also promotional giveaways as well. So here are the open opportunities to reach. There are various times and opportunities to reach African American men and women because they are a diverse group of people, as I was saying earlier. And here are some targeted openings that I selected to reach the population. which are doctor's office, which are annual doctor's office appointments, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Super Bowl Sunday, as this is a very popular day to watch TV, during the morning news or after 5 o'clock, because these people tend to be very busy. As I'm targeting parents, they normally have to take their kids to school or work full time. So I figured that this would be the best time to try to reach them, as well as the local morning radio and satellite radio, streaming services such as Hulu, Pandora, and Netflix. And I know that some people might think that this is an older population and that they might not even use Hulu, Pandora, Netflix, and SiriusXM, but I know for a fact that they do, as my parents are within this age group and they use all of those services. So I'm sure that other adults within this targeted population will also use these services as well. And here are my creative communication considerations. English, I will be using English and Spanish because these are the most popular languages in the United States. And also, I want it to be written or performed at a low literacy level because, as I said earlier, I do not want anyone that is in this target population to be lost in communication by use of jargon or things that people may not understand. I want everyone to understand all of the messages so that they can properly act on them. And here is my conclusion. Many people in the U.S. are affected by diabetes. In efforts to reduce the prevalence of type 2 diabetes in African American adults between the ages of 45 through 64 in the United States, we need to provide more awareness about this condition. And the communication channels that I chose, they will also help improve public health throughout the U.S. by reducing diabetes prevalence, because diabetes can lead to the diagnosis of many other conditions, such as heart disease, which is the leading cause of death in the United States at 23.5%. And these are my references, and I want to say thank you all so much for watching my video, and I hope you all enjoyed it, and please let me know if you have any questions.